some of our most popular episodes are about pugs living their best life, however that life is lived. And the last piece of feedback I'm going to share with you is from Petey the Pug's mum, Marilee, from our most popular episode from season 3, which is episode 9, about Petey. You were right, Donna. It felt like a chat between pug Pawrents at playgroup. Now, this is a great observation because we aim to make our episodes fun and all about you, which is basically what you do at playgroup anyway. Well, that's what we do at my playgroup. Hello, humans and puggies. Welcome to the Pug Life Show, Season 4, brought to you by Pug Parties, because your pug deserves to be the best dressed at the Pawty, and you can check out their outfits at pugparties.com. I'm your host, Donna, and with me are my puggy co-hosts, Rosie and Kenji, with their rescue foster brother, Buster. Welcome to Season 4 of the Pug Life Show. We're very happy to be back for another season talking all things pug, and we have lined up some awesome guests for our first couple of episodes. Not to mention that I am going to dedicate an episode to our newest foster pug, Buster, who is blind and almost deaf. And as my first blind pug has taught us a lot about how to work with him, so he feels part of the fur family, while we find him his forever fur family. However, the purpose of our season opening episode is to talk about our open invitation for you to join us on the show this season. But before we zoom in, I want to remind you to subscribe to our newsletter in the show notes so you get advance notice of our next episode and much, much more. Now, if you're a recent member of our Grumble and you haven't had time to listen to the last 3 seasons of the show, I'll quickly tell you why we started the Pug Life Show in the first place. Put simply, I love pugs, and my pugs love being talked about, as well as meeting other pugs and finding out about their pug life. I also love learning about pugs and how to be a better pug mum, which means reading lots, talking to people about pugs lots, and asking questions of people who know more about it than I do when it comes to pugs/dogs, which is basically most people in the industry. I used to pass on things I learned to other people in my playgroup, and we all like swapping lessons learned and stories of things that our pugs did or still do that we'd never seen before. And before long, I realised that this is probably happening in playgroups around the world. And it would be great if we could consolidate our learnings and share them on a more global platform whilst having fun at the same time. So here we are, 3 seasons down and commencing season 4. And we're on the lookout for pug Pawrents who would like to come on the show this season with some of the other guests that we have lined up to talk about their favourite subject, their puggies. And what people don't realise is that every puggie's story is unique and deserving of an audience, because every puggie is unique and loves an audience. So if I have your attention, or your puggie's attention, then click on the link in the show notes now to book a recording time so we can talk all about your pug life. It's actually that easy. Your puggie doesn't need to be the next Doug the Pug or PD the Pug, for that matter, to come on the show. You could be Open and Coco the Devils, or a pug named Peaches, who are 2 pug accounts we follow on Instagram and would love to have on the show someday, because they look like the kind of puggies who would love to have their parents talking about them on the podcast. So have you ever wondered what it takes to record a podcast episode on the Pug Life Show? Well, it's actually quite simple, and I'll run you through it so that we can completely demystify the entire process and you can see how easy it is actually for you. So, step 1, you click on the link in the show notes, which will take you to a calendar. This calendar is our recording schedule. And then you just click on a start time that suits you, say 4 p.m, and a booking sheet will pop up. Now, in the booking sheet, we ask a couple of basic questions like your name, contact details, so obviously we get in contact with you, your pug's name, very important, and your time zone, especially if you're like, there's an hour or a couple of hours difference. We want to make sure that, you're not having to get up at 3 a.m. or vice versa. And then you click on Create Booking, and the calendar will send you an email with the recording time and the link to click on to get access to the recording software. And then it places a placeholder in my calendar so I don't miss you either. Now, if you can't find a time that works for you on the booking sheet, never fear. Send us an email and we can book out something out of session. We use the booking sheet as a way of making it simple, but it isn't always as helpful as we hope it will be. So please don't give up on your episode if you can't find a time that works in the booking sheet. Many ways to fix that. So step 2, about a week prior to your recording session, we'll send you an email with some basic questions we use to get the conversation going, as well as confirming that we're good to go for the recording. We'll talk about these questions in a moment, so hold on. Step 3, on the day, all you need to do is click on the link in the booking email and a window should open up on your computer and you should see my smiling face, or Rosie's grumpy face, or Kenji's very happy, very curious face. You'll hear Rosie and Kenji in the background snoring or rumbling, which seems to be their favourite pastimes when I'm recording an episode, so don't be surprised. Now, once you're comfortable with the setup and you're ready to start, I actually hit record. So nothing happens, nothing is recorded until I hit record, so you're all good. Then I welcome you to the podcast and I'll ask my first question. And before you know it, I'm thanking you for coming on the show and we stop the recording. Now, once we stop the recording, after that, we usually have a chat about how the recording went. You can tell me if there's anything you're not happy with, and we discuss what editing needs to be done before we finish up. At this time, I can usually give you an indication on when to expect your episode to be released, so you can tell everyone. Organise a listening party or just enjoy listening to yourself while you're out on a walk with your puggy. It's actually quite cool to listen to yourself. It's so funny. I've done it a couple of times myself. Now, if I can't tell you exactly when your episode will be released at the time of the recording, I will email you when it has been scheduled so you can keep an eye out for its release. Then finally, basically what happens in the weeks that follow the recording of your episode, I edit the recording to remove long pauses, ums or ahs, or swear words. Sometimes they do happen. Now, if there's been a boo-boo during the recording or you ask me to remove a section because this didn't sound right to you, this is when I will do that. And I do it, if I do it well, no one will know the difference. And usually I'm pretty good at it. I'll also add in the introduction and invitation to let us know what you liked about the episode on our Pug Life Show PUGCAST Facebook group. And I'll also set up all of the social media posts announcing the episode so that come release day, everything is ready to go and the episode is released to all of the hosting sites like Apple Podcast and Spotify at 7 p.m. If you have a Facebook or Instagram account, we do try to tag you as well. Sometimes it doesn't work, but generally it does. And so what that'll do is that'll let all your friends know that your podcast episode has been released. Now, if that sounds like something you'd like to try, especially noting that I, as you've now heard, do most of the work, then click on the link in the show notes now to book a recording time because we'd love to set up a recording session with you. It's so much fun. Now, understandably, everything I just mentioned might sound a little daunting, but let me repeat what every guest we've had on the show over the last 3 seasons has said to me in some form when we finished recording their episode. So, for instance, Agatha's mum, Rachel, from season 2, episode 12, said, "I can't believe it was so easy. I clicked on the link you emailed me and the recording window popped up. I didn't have to do anything else." Now, as I said before, we try to make it as simple as possible for you so you can concentrate on having fun. Another feedback we got was from our friend Jo from Pug Rescue and Adoption Victoria. And her episode was season 3, episode 11 and episode 11 bonus. Now, what she said was that really an hour? I can't believe how easy it was to talk for that long. My answer is always yes, it really does go that quickly. And some of our most popular episodes are about pugs living their best life, however that life is lived. And the last piece of feedback I'm going to share with you is from Petey the Pug's mum, Marilee, from our most popular episode from season 3, which is episode 9, about PD. You were right, Donna. It felt like a chat between pug parents at playgroup. Now, this is a great observation because we aim to make our episodes fun and all about you, which is basically what you do at playgroup anyway. Well, that's what we do at my playgroup. Now, there are usually 3 reasons why parents don't put their paw up to come onto the PUGCAST. The first reason I usually get is I don't know what to talk about. We live a boring pug life. Firstly, no pug life is boring to me. And I give you some pre-prepared questions a week before we record your episode, so you have time to think about what you want to talk about, or you can ask some friends at playgroup if they have particular memories about your pug that you might want to share as well. I find that once you start talking, there is plenty to say, and we love hearing about your pug life adventures. I promise you, we really do. And generally speaking, we're asking more and more questions because we're just diving into the amount of fun that you have that you didn't realize was actually a great pug life. The second one that we get is I'm not very good with computers, understandably. That is why we use software that takes the hard work out of recording your episode. All you need is a computer or laptop with Google Chrome. Other web browsers can be used, such as Firefox or those sort of things, but the software makers do recommend Chrome, and you need some Wi-Fi. That's it. We email you a link to click on at the appointed time for your recording, and we do the rest. It really is that simple. You don't need fancy microphones, fancy headphones, none of that stuff. A computer, Google Chrome, Wi-Fi, and you and your pug. The last one that we usually get is I'm worried I'll mess up and I'll look or / sound stupid. We promise you won't look or sound stupid. It's a podcast, so no one can see you, which means you can wear your pug PJs to the recording if you like. And we've had people show up in PJs, believe me. And because we're pre-recording the episode, if there is a slip up or you get tongue-tied, the editing software we use can make it all go away with the click of my mouse. Believe me, there are episodes where I'm doing a solo conversation and you would be shocked at the number of mistakes that I make that I then have to go back and edit out. Nobody is perfect. We want you to have fun and sound pawsome. So if you get to the end of an episode and ask us to remove a question from the episode, then we'll talk about how we can do that so that you're happy with the end result, because that's what's most important. Now, if all of that sounds as easy as it really is, and we've assuaged all of your fears, then click on the link in the show notes to book a recording session now, because we would love to get to know you. We promise you'll have lots of fun and you will be the talk of your playgroup. But if you do have questions or concerns that we haven't addressed in today's episode, you can send us an email or drop a question over in our Facebook group, the Pug Life Show PUGCAST. That way, everyone can see your question and get the benefit of our answer, which is just like asking a question at playgroup. If you're not a member of the group, I invite you to join now. It's public. And whilst you're there, let us know what you think of the podcast or a particular episode if you have time. See, I just had a little bit of a trip. I'm not going to edit that one out this time. We love getting feedback and it helps make sure that we do better for you every season. Plus, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on the next episode, which will be coming out next Sunday. And while you're at it, leave us a review if you have listened to some of our past episodes. It only takes a couple of seconds to give us a 5-star review, but it goes a long way to helping other pug parents find us. I hope that today's episode removes some of the mystique around how a podcast episode is created and how easy it is to give it a go yourself. Rosie, Kenji, Buster and I hope that you will join us soon, and all it takes is for you to click on the link in the show notes. So don't be shy, and until next week, thank you for joining us have a pawsome week, and humans, be generous with the snackies.